What's up, gangsters? How about a little bit of random on a Sunday morning? Okay, so it's been a couple weeks since I've done one of these things, and the truth is I haven't really been doing any model making. I've been frittering around with lots of different things, and honestly, procrastinating on getting back to the next thing in line, which is this Belkit's rally car. And I was studying the instructions last night and come to the realization that most of this color scheme, the blue included, is decals. Like, it's a full body wrap. So that's going to be interesting. But I got to get back to that thing. And I will, probably today. But what else I've been working on is some product development stuff with John Geigel. We've continued to tweak this fixture thing that we cannot think of a name for. You can see this is the much closer to production version. It's got the very cool Masterpiece Models logo in there. You can see we've incorporated a sort of scale on both the standoffs and the base, which is good because then you can make sure that, like, for example, you've got your wing supports equidistant from the center line, and that helps you make sure that everything is, true with the earth, or at least with the stand itself. So that's pretty cool. I think this is going to be a neat product, and I'm stoked that John asked me to be involved. So the reason that it's got this Spitfire on here, this is the second kit that I did after I came back to the hobby, and I needed a model to use as a model for some product photography because I sold most of my 1/48 stuff, and this is all I had. And so this has been almost 5 years since I built this. It's pretty humbling to take a look at it. Honestly, I feel like it's terrible, and it's probably going to go in the trash can. Although I will save these exhausts if I can get them out of here, because these are the Moss Kit metal exhausts, and they're rare as hen's teeth. But they are gorgeous. You can't get them anymore, but look at how thin if the camera will focus, look at how thin the walls are on those. If you can see them, they are just super nice. This is also a good example of how Tamiya decals actually sometimes are really shitty. Look how out of register those are. But yeah, overall, this thing is just, it's not horrible. I don't feel like it's the worst thing I've ever done, but it is just not up to the standards that I'm trying to work to now. And I just don't feel like it's good enough to sell to anybody. Don't feel like keeping it around. And so it's probably maybe it'll become a paint mule. I don't know. But you can see the cool thing is that with this fixture, even with just a couple of rubber bands, that it is very firmly held on here. And by the way, I just the models that I shipped off to California, they all went by car, basically a courier delivery, but they were all fixtured on one of these, and they arrived 100% safe. And so I feel like that was a pretty good test of using that. What I did was basically just zip tie the fixture to the bottom of a clear storage bin, and then put the model on it, and it rode perfectly safe. So anyway, the kind of the philosophy with this fixture is to be able to one-hand everything. So these are, like, it's got captive bolts there, so all you have to do is loosen the wing nut, and then you should be able to just raise the support or move the standoff in and out pretty easily with just like I said, almost one hand. So that was the main philosophy there. What you'll get in the thing, you'll get these laser cut parts, and they'll have the protective paper on them, which you have to peel off, which is no fun. I've done a whole bunch of it at this point, but it is what it is. You may have to do a little cleanup on these cast parts. They're resin parts made off of 3D Masters. So you have to do a little bit of work. The main thing you'll have to do, though, is put some kind of a soft edging on these supports. And it's going to ship with rubber band material, which works pretty good. It's actually pretty easy to super glue these strips onto the edge of the support, and that gives you a soft enough surface to work with. So that's basically what you're going to get, and that one is the 1/48 scale one. And this monster is the 1/32 scale one. And as you can see, it's got my very first thing that I did coming back to the hobby, which is this Hasegawa 1/32 Mustang, which it is a terrible kit, and this is really not a great model at all. I mean, it's got so many issues, but this one will never go away because this represents, you know, kind of my story in recovering from spinal cord injury, and it took me, you know, most of 3 years off and on to finish this thing, and it's what got me, you know, reintroduced to scale modeling. So it's got a lot of sentimental value. It will always hold a special place in my heart and on my shelf. Also got something cool. This is one of the guys who's an SMCG member. He's doing some decal production, which is pretty cool. These are kind of like generic symbols, and I think that this stuff is really geared towards World of Warcraft, which I'm pretty ignorant about. But his little company is called the Mighty Brush, and these decals are nice. The printing is super crisp. You can see that with these decals. The only thing I noticed is there's a little bit of a yellowish cast on these white ones. So that might be something he needs to get squared away, but the printing is really crisp, and they look like they're super thin. I don't know who's making them for him, but whoever it is, they're doing a pretty good job. You can see themightybrush.com is his website, but it's nicely packaged. He's a graphics artist type guy, and it shows in the nice way that he's packaged this. He's got some instructions in here. My only beef is, you know, of course, right here, paragraph 1, he's perpetrating the whole gloss before decals myth, which obviously I take issues with, but yeah, it is what it is. It's still a neat product that I'm sure lots of guys can find some use for. Now, I want to return to something that I mentioned before. This 10 pounds of awesomeness. Part of what I did over the last couple of weeks was I poured through every single page of this gorgeous, wonderful book. This is like maybe the best $30 I ever spent on a reference book. Several people have pointed out that I made the mistake of calling that Gabby Gabreski. I should have known. I know the difference. That's not him. Sort of, maybe looks like him. I don't know. He's obviously in a Thunderbolt. But anyway, that's not him. But there are some wonderful photographs of Gabby in this book. And just to kind of give you an example, let me see if I can find one of the ones that I'm thinking about. You can see how just, you know, huge and just really crisp and gorgeous these images are. Like, look at these. These are real color images, okay? These are not recolored or colorized. What it says in the introduction to the book is that these images were restored. So they've had some work done on them, but nothing to alter the original content. But like, look at this picture of Princess Pat, this B-17. I mean, come on, look at how beautiful the weathering is on that. It's just so beat up, just so much to look at there. I mean, this makes me want to go immediately and buy the new HK 1/48 scale B-17. I've never, and then that's what happens to me. That's why I built the F4 that I did last year, because I saw one photograph that I just could not resist. Here's a great one. Look at this. You can even see the breech snot coming out of the ejection ports on those Hellcat guns underneath there. That kind of detail. I think I mentioned where I posted a little bit of a review about this on Facebook, that if you're one of those guys who really wants to believe that aircraft never got this dirty, or that no crew chief would ever, or some other kind of similar silliness, don't buy this book, because it's going to crush your belief system. These aircraft were well beaten, and these are there's some publicity photos in here, but most of these are au naturel, where you get to see see them as they really were, rather than all spiffed up and cleaned up for Life magazine staged photo shoots. But look at this Corsair. If you look in here really close, look at the chipping on the wing. You can see the zinc chromate primer peeking through there. That is super cool. And then look at all of the tonal variation in that blue. Just gorgeous. Just a lot of really lovely images in here. So if you love aircraft, if you love World War II aircraft, you love good photography, and you're looking for something to really boost your reference collection and your creative mojo, yeah, go spend $30 on this book, even if you have to spend a little bit more. Anyway, so that's it. That's enough. That's 11 minutes and 30 some seconds. So I better shut the hell up. Bye.